we have a next speaker is Mr. Sai Lakshmidhar. He is the President Insurance at INSILLION. Mr. Sai is an expert in insurance and retail. A round of applause, please, for our speaker.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. So the topic that we're going to talk about is next generation product underwriting. I'm not going to teach anything in insurance right now, but we all keep talking about next generation and all that. So what do we actually mean by this next generation, right? I mean, we're all confused. Whether it's AI where we're asking the software to figure out what's happening inside the systems, right? Or is it BI where you as a management user want to figure out what's happening? Or there's a new buzzword called CI, where the customer doesn't have any clue and he wants to figure out what's happening. So let's go to some of the basics. Okay, so no sales pitch right now. So our experience, I'll try to give some use cases and what have we seen for next generation products. So the basic concept is insurance is a contract, whether it's old generation, new generation, or any generation, right? And contract typically consists of two key components. One is the price element, which is a bunch of rating variables and how you underwrite and all that, and the terms. Now, let's leave aside terms for the time being. Let's look at the price component, right? If you look at a motor or a car insurance example, you take pricing, right? The way when you start motor insurance, let's say we had only one rating variable called the number of wheels, right? At that point of time, you will have to price all the cars at the same level, which is not fair because a typical family sedan is a low risk profile. Now the family sedan is trying to subsidize a luxury car. So what happens is you go ahead and you introduce a new type of a rating variable saying type of car, right? So then you see the price moving towards more, the subsidy effect reduces and things like that. Then you further see that there are low-risk cars and there are high-risk cars and so on. And we go ahead and create another rating variable or a bunch of rating variables saying driver profiles or risk profiles, right? So that point of time, at some point your price rationalizes with what the market requires, right? Now, this is the typical journey of any product. Once you launch, you will not know how the market is going to react to it. And this is the same philosophy that's going to apply for next generation products. So all this is fine. We all know this already. So what's so great about it? Currently, we have this fear of failure, okay? Where once we launch, we want to be successful, okay? That's a fundamental shift towards next generation products, where we are saying the new life cycle, as the previous speaker and Frederick also initially mentioned, right? Is we are going towards an age where you should be able to quickly launch something. Not just one version or one variant of the product. You should be able to launch multiple combinations, right? 10 or 20 different variants of the same product and see which one is working, tweak something, and then quickly improvise and relaunch. Again, it's the same thing that we are resonating with weeks and days from what the previous speaker was saying, right? So this is where the life cycle is heading, and we are seeing that very strongly. So we work with some carriers and reinsurers where we see this. The next thing is, if you see the rating units, we had traditional rating units like monthly or annual premiums and things like that, right? The new units are changing. Like you're talking about products where you are taking coverages for a few hours, few kilometers, or few items. So somebody today was also talking about inventory insurance, right? So imagine Netflix tomorrow comes online and they say, they already have the TV information, the Android OS versions or which TV it is running and all that. And suddenly they want to enable anybody who's running Netflix is covered for TV insurance. It can happen, right? So when that happens, are we as insurance companies and the ecosystem ready to cater to that kind of a volume? We're talking about millions of televisions and mobile phones. So that's what we're talking about. And the other one is, the way we assess risks, we see a difference. Currently, older generation products, we used to assess risk at only the beginning, right? Now, the assessment is like, periodic and going more towards continuous underwriting. Continuous underwriting, you can have different nomenclatures like usage-based insurance and other stuff. So when that happens, what happens is you are no longer going to have one single policy and say, I have created a transaction, here is the policy contract, I don't want to see your face rest of the year. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be continuous interactions where you talk about health products, modern health products, where there's a company called Ultrahuman out there who are trying to come up with invasive and non-invasive. They recently launched a ring, which gives you continuous data. So with that data, do we have products to underwrite and say, hey, your today's premium or this week's premium is so and so. We'll talk about that, but we are not yet there. Towards the end, we'll talk about how to get there and all that. Yeah, semi-automated to highly automated. Now, this one is where we have some digital systems. There is a core system. There's a certain architecture within the IT landscape and all that. But when you hit bite-sized products, you're going to have millions of transactions. Now, that time, your cost, the premium value is going to be so low that you cannot literally spend thousands or hundreds of bucks to acquire a customer. So your cost of acquisition has to be very low. Same way the cost of claims has to become low. That can only happen if you have eliminated a lot of manual interventions and make it highly automated, right? And this is the reiterating the same one. Our previous sales funnels, right, in an insurance policy, there are like millions of quotations, there are thousands of proposals, and there are hundreds of policies. So something like that. Just imagine a number. But the future next generation products, you're talking about millions of quotations and millions of policies also. So millions of policies means that your systems have to be capable enough to handle that kind of load and things like that. So a preferred architecture that we see that's working in the market with multiple players is separating your core systems with the system of intelligence, keep the core as system of records. So this layer, keep it cloud enabled or web based or whatever, so that you can really scale this up much, much higher on demand. And so far we've been dealing with mobile and web interfaces and things like that, right? The newer interfaces are going to be different. Okay, we're not even getting to Meta. Meta is in a total different league. Immediately we're talking about embedding insurance products. So what that means is, let's say as an insurance carrier, you want to talk to 100 affinity providers. They do their business, they have a web real estate, and in that real estate they say, no, I can give you as an insurer a small space. Can you embed like a Google Map widget inside my website? I don't have any developers, I don't want to do any coding. So that's where people are heading. I mean, people want to do less and less work. So you should be able to, your platform should be able to generate those widgets and give them very easily, right? And combination of products. Combo products, like you have he was mentioning 3,000 odd products, right? Is there a way we can quickly create an assortment of couple of products and take them to the market much faster? See if it works. If it doesn't work, change the combination, relaunch. So this is where the market wants us to be. We are at a certain space right now, and there are platforms which can help you bridge this. So I like what Frederick had said, the first speaker, right? He was talking about there are incumbents and there are insurtechs. And these two have to be bridged and they have to work together because their clock speed, I like that word, clock speeds are different. So there are platforms which can help you bridge that clock speed. So try to see if you can partner with such companies. Coming towards the end, this is just a summary of whatever we are talking about. Key takeaways are, the life cycle is changing. There are new units of cover, and the measurement frequency, that is the risk assessment frequency, is changing. It's going to be more and more faster way of assessing risks, and we're going towards extremely highly automated way of policy issuance and claims assessments. And we're talking about millions of transactions for policies also, not just, so the sales pipeline, the funnels are going to change to more like a cylinders or something like that, right? And newer interfaces. That's it. My name is Sai. Yes, I have AI in my name, and I'm from INSILLION. Any questions?